against the wall. But you are a strong person, so baby keep moving on. Don't let nobody stop you, honey. So look up your pants and just stand tall. You won't stay
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another video here on LAVI Program LLC. It's your girl Lavender, your virtual life coach. Today is May 17th, 2025. It's a Saturday, so y'all already know what kind of video this is. It's your self-reflection Saturday video. So today's topic, I wanted to address attributes of self-harm. I think it's important to kind of dive into this topic because I think sometimes we may do things that we don't even identify as harm to ourselves. So I want to kind of break down a little bit different ways in which self-harm can be shown or demonstrated, and just kind of make this an activity that you all can sit back, self-reflect a little bit on, and see if there's anything that you might need to redirect or revise along the way in your own life based upon the information that's being discussed. All right, so let's get into it. Self-harm is commonly described as a volatile, destructive, or significantly detrimental impact inflicted by an individual onto themselves. So self-injury. Self-harm can range from majorly extreme to minuscule. It can include actions like physical assault, self-sabotaging behaviors, personal neglect, and even cognitive functions like denial and negative self-talk. Physical self-harm can include things like neglecting to eat an adequate amount of food, overindulgence, medication non-compliance, inadequate bathing or grooming, assault, isolative behaviors, drug, alcohol, or tobacco use, neglect of medical, dental, or mental care, as well as unhealthy personal boundaries. Emotional self-harm refers to negative thoughts that damage someone's self-esteem and mental health. It can include negative self-talk or self-perception, denial, lack of confidence, and pessimism. Self-sabotage can include not asking for help, rejecting praise or compliments, isolating yourself when you feel hurt, saying yes to everything, putting your own needs on hold, procrastinating on important tasks, and trying to be perfect, so perfectionism. Behavior modification or corrective behavior strategies can help individuals identify self-harming behaviors and attributes, their influential impact, so how they impact you, and effective ways to reformulate these behaviors into more positive ones. So again, self-harm isn't just physical injury that you do to yourself. There are various ways in which we can actually demonstrate self-harm. Now, again, I know most people tend to focus primarily on the physical aspect, but there's also, emotional self-harm and self-sabotage. But there are ways in which you can modify or correct these behaviors. So that's what this video is going to get into today. Just some prompts that can kind of get your gears going a little bit so that you can really sit back and evaluate, like, do I be doing things like what this video is talking about, what it's describing, some of these attributes, that Lavender's sitting here, putting down. Are you picking it up to see if it's something that you're doing in your own life? It's great to be able to check yourself first, so that way you ain't got to go off if somebody else try to check you. You feel me? All right, y'all. So for today's self-reflection activity, I challenge you to reflect on 3 prompts that can help you to identify your own self-harming attributes, how they infiltrate your life, and encourage you to brainstorm on a more positive way of demonstrating self-love and compassion to yourself to break old self-harming habits, because it does become a habit. When it's something that you have just been repetitively doing, it becomes redundant, and at some point it can seem like a norm until you really sit back and think about, how is this infiltrating my life? Is it tainting my life? Is it improving me in any way? Is it causing, conflicts in my connections with other people, my social life, my relationship and dating life? So, your love life, is it getting in the way of work, or how active you are throughout the day? Your quality of the day. Like, does it disrupt that? Because there are multiple ways in which you can demonstrate self-harm. There are multiple ways in which it can rear its ugly head in your life. And if you are not aware of it, or if you don't make yourself more aware of it, or potential triggers that may induce self-harm, or one of these forms of self-harm, then it's easy for it to just kind of be glazed over like a donut, and you eating it up, except for it ain't sweet. It's very harmful. All right, so the first prompt to kind of address self-harm would be: identify ways that you may exhibit self-harm in your life, and reflect on how this may impact your physical wellness, mental state, and overall quality of life. So like I said, kind of exactly what this video is for, self-reflection. Think about it. Like, is there any way that I produce any type of physical self-harm onto myself? Any type of actual injury that I do to myself? Like, are you not going to the doctor when you got some stuff you need to check on? When is the last time you went? Are there medications that you're supposed to take every day and you just kind of let it slip your mind? Those are still injuries to yourself, but it's not necessarily the drastic injuries that I don't think YouTube gonna let me say on this video. But I think we all got the picture of what I mean. But yeah, just taking that time to really think about it. Is there any way that I demonstrate any type of physical self-harm onto myself, or emotional self-harm onto myself, or self-sabotage? Is there a way that I'm kind of stepping on my own toes and not really allowing myself to grow? Well, then that's harming yourself. That's harming your growth. That could be potentially, harming you as the individual, your individual blueprint, So, you're the master of your fate. It's up to you on how you paint that canvas. You are the artiste. So if you don't like the way things are, if you feel like things may be harmful to you, well, then it's your responsibility to change it. It's your responsibility to be more aware of it, to catch it before it happens, or to catch it in the midst of it. And then also to identify and use effective ways of being able to modify or correct that behavior, so that it does not become a consistent thing. You're now disrupting the pattern. And that's also a video that I dropped for last Saturday. So if you haven't already watched the video about patterns, that's up from last Saturday. All right, y'all. So prompt number 2. So number 1 was about identifying how you might exhibit these type of self-harming behaviors. Excuse me, y'all. So prompt number 2. What support systems or resources are available to you that can help redirect self-harm and even help to achieve personal life goals and or aspirations? So, asking yourself, what do I have available to me? Once you've identified what these self-harms are that you might demonstrate or exhibit in your life. So let's sit back and think about it. Well, what kind of resources do I have in my life? Or what kind of supports do I have in my life? And I've run, into a lot of people who would say, well, I don't have anybody. It's just me. Well, sometimes when we really sit down and think about it and kind of get some of our emotions out of the way, we'll identify maybe not natural supports, like maybe you don't have a homegirl, or you're not real close with your family members, but there may be other support systems that are out there to you. And some of them I will be disclosing later throughout this video. But we really got to take some time, put our emotions aside, and think about it. What is out there? And if you don't know, we all got some type of device that's connected to the internet, and if you don't, you got Wi-Fi. And if you don't have that you pay out of pocket for, there are plenty of places that give you free Wi-Fi. So, in the day and age that we in now, there's really no reason why you can't research something that is out there to potentially be able to assist you. Some stuff does require insurance, and some stuff does not. Some stuff, they are nonprofits that provide free resources to citizens within their community. And maybe you might need to get in touch with your CSB. These places can help you to identify. It's basically like your 411 when it comes to personal growth support. They can direct you into or point you in a direction of some resources that may be available to you. All right, y'all. So prompt number one was identifying those self-harming attributes or behaviors or even thoughts that you have, whatever those self-harming ways are. So identifying them first. Number two, identifying either supports that you have or resources that you have locally that you are able to contact and see how they can help you to address these things. Number three, identify your own traits and characteristics that can help to enhance your self-awareness of self-harming triggers to assist with proactively addressing the problem before it can escalate further. So rather than, I'm sure in the beginning when you first try to learn something new, especially when it comes to self-harming, things that are in your life, it might be hard to really sit down and say, oh, all right, that's a trigger for me. Or really even address it in the midst of that trigger occurring. And, again, those emotions getting in the way. And sometimes they steer us into these other type of self-harming, ways, whether it's emotional self-harm, physical self-harm, or self-sabotaging behaviors. So by identifying what traits and characteristics you have, not only is this combative to maybe those negative thoughts that you may have about yourself or some type of self-sabotaging cognitive perspectives that you have about yourself, but this can also remind you and kind of gear you into being more responsible or more aware of when those triggers occur or what those triggers even are. So that, when it occurs, you're like, all right, I already know that's about to be a trigger for me, or I can tell that this is a trigger for me. Let me tap into, my resources. Let me tap into what other kind of tools I might have in my toolbox that I can pull out and get to work. You know what I'm saying? So, because the work is yours to do, nobody else's. It don't matter who you sit down and talk to. It don't matter what supports you connect with, whether it's natural supports, community supports. You using those supports it's all up to you. It's literally all in your shoes. No one else can heal you. That is your job. You have to do it. That's the only way it's going to stick. So by reminding yourself of your own traits and characteristics, you can become more self-aware. And by having this self-awareness, you could become better prepared on not only what tools to use once you've educated yourself on those things that are effective for you. Because what might be effective for this person might not work for you. Like some people, especially when we talk about like anger control, some people might like, counting to 10. Unfortunately, that don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. But if I turn on some music that really catch my attention, whether it's the rhythm or the lyrics, oh yeah, that can take me and send me off to a whole nother level of calmness where I'm like, oh, what just happened? Not that I'm dissociated from it or I forgot about it. It's not a primary focus anymore. It's something I was able to positively distract myself from. All right. So again, prompt number one was identifying those self-harms. Prompt number two was identifying the supports or whatever type of resources that may be locally that you can contact, link to, actually use and incorporate into your life so that you can work on those things if you really want to work on it. And then prompt number three was about identifying your own traits and characteristics, reminding yourself who you are. And that, again, if I don't like it, I can change it. That I am the master of my fate. I am the artiste of this canvas. And so if I don't like the picture that is being depicted, well, then I can change it. I can change it. All right. So just some notes that I got down here at the bottom that I feel are important to make sure that I express. If you or someone is struggling with effectively addressing and correcting self-harm in yours or their own lives, Support is available. If you are in immediate danger of yourself, please contact 988 if you are in the United States of America to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or call your local authorities, 911, if you're in USA, for quick response support and or guidance. For less dire circumstances, if it's not an immediate emergency, I encourage you to link to services like outpatient therapy, support groups, and they are virtual as well as some that are in person, skill building services, life coach services like myself, or a similar community resource for direct guidance and education on how to redirect self-harm and provoking triggers. As always, LAVI Program LLC is readily available to help guide and support you through life's unexpected events and circumstances that may threaten your sense of stability and or well-being. Booking information and other contact details and a link with the description of our service provision is listed in the description box below. LAVI Program LLC is also on Facebook and Instagram, so if you are not already following us also on those platforms, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to helping you along your journey towards manifesting realities one change at a time, which I know is the motto here. And when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to work. Time waits for nobody. So if you are ready to enhance yourself and you feel like I might can be the person to help you do it, get that contact information below. Book your appointment. Let's do this. Peace, y'all.